Hi, we're on another channel.
We are on another channel.
I guess.
We
gotta make graphics for that.
We talked about, when we get to the point of where we have enough subscribers that we might think about running ads on our channel and maybe someday having the Patreon or something, that we would take all the not Song of Ice and Fire content and put it on another channel because we know it performs well.
Yeah. And we know what those particular nerds like.
But we know that there's a subset of people, and by subset I mean it's still probably 100 people who watch everything we do.
Which is ridiculous, and they should really stop.
Don't stop. You can do whatever you want.
Don't stop wearing the... No.
Yeah, but, you do what you want with your free time. But we figured we'd put all the other stuff here, because now we can justify making more of it. Yeah. Because we always said, we're losing the plot of our channel. Yeah. And we can only do this every so often. And we want to do those a lot more often.
YouTube really damages you. If you don't if you go even a little bit of a different way, the Halloween video on the main channel is one of my favorite videos we've ever made, and 3 videos after that performed terribly because the algorithm hates things that aren't exactly Game of Thrones theory videos looking like conspiracy videos, right?
With red arrows and theory in the thumbnail.
Yes.
If you wonder why we clickbait it. It's because YouTube,
because YouTube
patting us on the head and saying, good, my child.
Good girl.
Don't,
Clever girl.
Yeah, absolutely. So
this is the sequel to a
original video on our channel. Yeah,
we made a long time
original channel
video.
We talked about Jurassic Park. And we talked about the first 3 Jurassic Parks, knowing that there are more of these films out there. But they're called Jurassic World, though, for some reason.
Zach, I want to talk to you about
before we get into that, can I talk to you about the Jurassic Park movies that didn't get made before Jurassic World?
Oh, please.
They took some ideas from them, because one of them was going to be that it was either going to be Ian Malcolm or Alan Grant, however they could get back, ends up invited to see a military mercenary group who's using genetically modified dinosaurs to fight really shady conflicts.
Okay.
And they borrow really heavily from that terrible idea in future movies. That movie would not be a good Jurassic Park movie, but it would be an awesome video game.
Yes!
Could you imagine a modern military shooter where you have to fight dinosaurs? Or twist, you are 3 missions in when the enemy gets desperate and launches the Velociraptor pods at you.
Yes, the secret Velociraptors.
Yeah. Yes. If you make that game, just throw special thanks to us in the credits.
All right, Zach. There's a bunch. You ready to talk about Jurassic World?
I am ready to talk about Jurassic World.
Okay.
Thank God I've seen this movie.
So it's on.
So thank God I've seen this movie so I can talk about it, not because it was good.
It's on. Hey, this one's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's very enjoyable.
There's aspects of it I enjoy.
Aren't you the person who comes out here defending Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah, I defended Jurassic Park 3 over Jurassic Park The Lost World.
Unbelievable.
However, I will not
This movie's better than either of them. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Fight about that in the comments.
Fight about that. This feels so much more soulless than either of those.
You know what? That's an interesting point.
As bad as those movies were, they understood that their characters were more important than the spectacle. And that was that's what makes the first movie so classic. Is you I've noticed this recently, or I guess I've known this for a while, but I've noticed shows that I got really into recently, movies I got really interested into recently, have been very good about just get them invested in the character, and whatever road that character goes down, they will care. I'm watching, I think I've mentioned before, Cobra Kai right now.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah. I am at a point in the show where Like, a lot of people are no longer doing karate. They're going on wacky misadventures. There's an entire plot over whether somebody has to sell their used car dealership or not. And it's compelling because I care about the characters. And they made it compelling by showing how crucial a, feud between two car dealerships is in a story about teaching kids karate. That I don't mind the detour because it is important.
Because there are characters that you care about so much it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I can feel that way about Alan Grant because I'm forgetting the actor's name. Alan Grant's actor.
Oh, Sam Neill. Oh,
Sam Neill. Yeah. Sam Neill as Alan Grant is such a phenomenal fit for him as an actor, and he's just so compelling, instantly on screen. Whenever I see him in trouble, I'm like, well, damn, I want this guy to get out of this.
You bred velociraptors.
Yeah.
The brief detour to pump up Velocipaster. Anyone who hasn't seen Velocipaster needs to see Velocipaster.
It's a good one.
You bred Velocipasters.
But yeah,
Zach, let me introduce you to Owen Grady.
Red Letter Media calls him Owen Thunderguns. And that's the best nickname for him I've ever heard.
And of course, Claire?
Claire.
Is it Claire?
Everybody loves Claire, who the director says is supposed to be the emotional core of the movie.
And Zara is the assistant.
Claire, the emotional support of the emotional core of the movie, whose arc is that she learns how to run with high heels on.
Yes. Icon. We, of course, have Owen Grady's Velociraptors, who are the actual emotional core of the movie.
The stuff with him in blue is the stuff that I think is the most...
It's pretty good.
If they had spent more time on that, it could have been a more compelling movie.
And, of course, we have those two kids. There's two children in this movie. Claire's nephews, whose parents just split up, so they got sent to $40,000 Disney World. Alone.
By the way, I want to point out when I'm making fun of Claire, it's Bryce Dallas Howard, right? She's a phenomenal actress. She was given a bad script. And I feel that way about everybody who's in these movies. They are all phenomenal actors, for the most part, who are given very weak characters. And my beef is entirely with Colin Trevorrow, because we're going to have to talk about Safety Not Guaranteed in this video also. I have very strong opinions about the movie that got him permission to make more Jurassic Park. Tom looks at the time.
I got pressured into another video.
Okay. Do you know the idea behind Safety Not Guaranteed?
No. Do we have time for this?
It's a very quick detour, yes.
You know what? If there's one thing that we're known for,
it's very quick
detours. Quick detours.
Yes.
It's going to be 15 minutes at the most.
This is a thing that's been popular on the internet. It was published in a newspaper or something of that sort.
Hey, it's April Ludgate.
Yes. It did not have enough things in their, seeking a section of the newspaper. So they just made something up as a joke. Where it says, wanted, someone to go back in time with me. This is not a joke. P.O. Box 322, Oakview, California, 93022. You'll get paid after. We must get back. Must bring your own weapons. Safety not guaranteed. I've only done this once before. The movie is the person, she is the journalist. This is the guy. She finds him and, starts to learn about his plan to go back in time.
Okay.
Now, in an awesome movie, what would happen? They would go back in time and go on some sort of wacky adventure, right?
It could also be a heart-rending drama of a man who is not perfectly in touch with reality. That could be compelling.
Yeah. What it is instead is a low-stakes romantic comedy that ends with him finishing the time machine, and we don't see where they go back. How?
So that could have been guy opening a cookie shop, right?
Yeah.
It could have been any task. Guy is building a house. I've seen that movie, right?
This is basically just the plot of a Hallmark movie, with a
time machine hook.
This is movie clickbait. So I have a permanent beef against Colin Trevorrow. For whatever he makes in the future, I will spare no punches. I'm not some internet asshole who hates on things because of some political stance he took on Twitter, because I probably agree with him. Let me look at his political stance.
No, don't. You can't don't say that without checking first.
He lives in the United Kingdom. He's probably fine. He's
what if he's one of them tolerant people?
Ouch.
Tom turns to camera 2. Gives middle finger. No, not for you, the one behind you. He has a baseball bat, by the way.
He wrote and directed, at least in part, all 3 of these movies we're about to talk about.
Wow.
And I will never forgive him, because before that movie came out...
we can't be about to talk about these 3 movies. We're 10 minutes into the recording and it's 11:40.
It's 11:40?
No, it's 12:40.
Yeah, your thing's an hour behind. Okay. Let's talk about Jurassic World.
Let's talk about Jurassic World. At least a little bit. Right. 2 kids. The park is opening. Oh my god, Henry Wu is there. I forgot about him.
He was the person they could get back because everybody else was like, I don't know if this thing's going to work out. And they had to slow roll everybody back into the universe.
Oh my god, we don't have time for this because I have to go on a 25-minute rant about the second one. They've built the better dinosaur, right?
Yes.
And it's one of the things I like about this movie is it's very self-aware. It's very there's this line where it's the Indominus Rex, brought to you by Verizon Wireless, which is that's a very good self-aware joke. Right?
If the movie was more subversive like that, I would love it. If this was RoboCop, if you're gonna have something where the characters don't really hook you as much, the narrative has to hook you. Nobody gives a damn about a single character in RoboCop, but RoboCop is hardcore edgy satire, and you watch because you'll see this horrific violence and people act like it's commonplace, where the guy gets gunned down in a boardroom meeting and they just continue the meeting. I
have not seen RoboCop.
It's right up your alley.
All right.
I think it's. Have you ever seen any Paul Verhoeven movies?
Zach, come back with me. Come back with me. We can't.
Sidebar collapse. We're not going to go into the ranking all of Paul Verhoeven movies. Have you seen Starship Troopers?
I'm gonna throw something at you.
Yes or no? Have you seen Starship Troopers?
But yes, I don't know why people hate on that movie.
It's really good, and that's also hardcore satire.
Now hold the phone here for a second. I will. I don't have time for a Starship Trooper rant. The Starship Troopers is a World War I romance.
It's
yes, it's a romance by letters. But it's interspersed with these fantastic
I'm doing my part.
It's so good. That movie's great, and I don't know why. That movie is hated.
It's too good.
It's very good.
I think people like it now. I think people didn't like it when it came out because you disrespected the source material. And it's no, we had fun with it.
I looked into it a little bit, and there was a why, because it's very anti-military to a certain extent. It's very critical of the military.
It shows you what military propaganda looks like with the biggest wink in the world that they're in on the joke.
And I think that there was a good amount of propaganda. Somewhat ironically, I think there was a good amount of propaganda against it when it came out, where people were saying this is disrespecting the military. Going. On them, right?
Imagine Jurassic World, but it's that for the Disney Corporation, right? It is a full-on knockoff of Disney World, and it is literally the line from the first one of when the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, they don't start eating the.
But the pirates of the pirates do actually. Well, I mean that is what happens. This movie's good. This movie, when there's no dialogue happening, this movie's great.
Okay. when the characters aren't there to be very boring,
the movie is fun.
Correct. Yes. Let's see. It's called the Indominus Rex. It's like a chameleon kind of thing. While exploring the park, Zach and Gray enter a restricted area. They find an old Jeep Wrangler, because of course they do.
I see things I'm familiar with. Yeah.
In a frankly phenomenal scene, the Claire's assistant Zara, who has been like trying to take care of these kids and has done nothing wrong the whole movie, by the way, gets snatched up by a pteranodon, picked up, carried across the water, and in this brutal, like 20-second long take, is carried screaming across the water and eaten by a mosasaur.
This character has done nothing to... This is a villain death, right?
Yes!
This is the death that honestly Claire kind of deserved. Because she's the one who made all the terrible decisions that got her here in the first place.
This is either the comeuppance death for a villain, like in Jurassic Park 2, right? How Hammond, like the third or whoever that is, Hammond's nephew gets killed by the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Or this is a horror movie death, right? An innocent character dies like this in a horror movie.
If either somebody needs to die from this because they are a truly evil bastard. This could be your, like, Henry Wu is the turncloak in here. So this could be the Henry Wu death, but he has to live because they signed him on for all the sequels. Or this is the your own hubris death, right? This is the, like, person who created this park. Actually, funnily enough, recent news from Elon Musk because he wants to make his own Jurassic Park. And I'm like, did you watch the movie?
No! See... And we ranted about this in the first video. No, I dispute this. The point of Jurassic Park is stupid. The point is dumb and bad.
If I could think of
not that I'm going to sit here and defend Elon Musk.
Yeah, if I could think of one person...
To be clear.
If I could think of one person who could make Jurassic Park and make sure the ending is faithful to the film... it would be Elon Musk.
Yeah, I want to recreate Jurassic Park. Not the park, the movie.
Do you mean the park or the movie? Yes.
Yeah, I sure do. Hoskins is the person who's been trying to like make the raptors into weapons. He releases the raptors but the Indominus has raptor DNA, so it becomes the pack's new alpha. It escapes. Raptors kill all the soldiers. Yep. Whole bunch of things happen. Owen reestablishes his bond with 3 surviving raptors. They attack the Indominus. Delta and Echo are killed, and Blue is knocked unconscious. Claire releases Jurassic Park's veteran Tyrannosaurus by luring it into a battle with the Indominus. This is the high heel scene.
Yes, classic.
The Indominus eventually gains the advantage over the Tyrannosaurus until Blue recovers and joins the battle. The duo overwhelms the Indominus until it gets cornered at the lagoon's edge.
I have a problem with the Indominus Rex because the Indominus Rex just being made for military purposes. One, okay, that still has problems and is kind of dumb. Because you would want to, like, military velociraptors actually makes a ton of sense. Because it's like, you know, we use military dogs, right?
Yeah.
They're small enough for humans to handle, they're intelligent enough to train, and you can use them for very specific services. Got it. Making a giant genetically engineered creature that you have no idea what it's going to do is a very bad military tactic. This is essentially just making a cannon that fires in a direction.
It's a cannon that shoots.
Which way? I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Forward?
Forward which way? Forward according to who? But yeah. The other thing they say is they're like, I believe something they say is they're making it because people are getting tired of dinosaurs. And I just want to tell you, no,
which is crazy.
You are insane. People
haven't gotten tired of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
People aren't tired of zoos. And zoos normally haven't brought anything back that has been dead for millions of years.
Yeah, like the God of Thunder has been around for a long time. People are not tired of zoos.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Zoos. So
that was the end of the movie.
Like, people, like, People like to go see elephants, which you can do very easily in most places. You're the only place in the world that has goddamn dinosaurs.
Actual dinosaurs.
You literally have a monopoly on living dinosaurs. How is it, people are getting bored of dinosaurs? If they were saying, 3 other tropical islands full of dinosaurs opened up and are undercutting our business model.
Right, like if they flooded the Manhattan market.
Yeah.
Right? Like if there was one in Shanghai and one in Tokyo and one in LA.
Yeah, and there's one in Sao Paulo. It's getting to the point it's not special anymore.
Yes.
There's one in Sicily. It's not that everybody in the world is coming to Costa Rica to see the only place there's dinosaurs. They have options.
But that is what's happening. You're the only place in the world.
You are literally the only person in the world to have successfully cloned dinosaurs and put them in a park for people to go see. Your business model is solid.
It's fine. You're good.
Any economist in the world will say, just keep on doing what you're doing and worry about it when you have 2 competitors. When you have 2 competitors, you might need to shake things up.
I was really fond of a College Humor bit where Brennan Lee Mulligan pretends to be the CEO of Nabisco, and he's talking about Oreos, and he's like, I'm very glad to announce, we don't need to make any more cookies. We made the perfect cookie in 1905. We don't need to make any more cookies. And, people keep bringing out to him... we have peanut butter Oreos and chocolate dipped Oreos, and I want you to go into literally any store on planet Earth. You can find Oreos in that store. What market share are we trying to bring back? We have Oreos.
Yes. This is the problem with Jurassic World. Probably my biggest issue with it, other than the characters.
Other than the rest of it.
Other than the characters being very boring and not that interesting to me, is that the idea that they are taking high risks because they're falling on hard times does not make sense when they have a successful theme park full of dinosaurs. You've won. Game over. You will be rich forever. It makes a lot more sense, John Hammond is trying to start the park and he's running into all these clear logistical issues you would have trying to have a park full of dinosaurs. So he brings in people to basically give it a thumbs up and say it's safe. And, all the severe logistical issues from having a park full of dinosaurs kick in while the people are there to say it's safe. Totally believable plot. Yeah. Are you taking notes? Colin. Sorry, I'm just imagining Colin's having a dream. And he turns over and there's a velociraptor.
Listen to Dominus Rex.
Colin.
Man, the problem with those first 3 movies is they're fun.
Yes.
Okay, you ready for my least favorite one?
We're moving to the second movie, which you have a strong opinion.
I do. This is one of my least favorite movies of all time.
And I think it's the least favorite movie of you because it screws up potentially being an amazing movie.
There's some crumbs on the floor of this bakery that you can taste and be like, oh my god, they might have, if they hadn't made such a bad cake, they might have made a really good cake.
That's a way more appropriate metaphor than what I was going to say. Which is, this is like somebody sharding in the middle of a striptease, but...
I'm upset. Okay. Okay, it's 3 years after the first one. There is a volcanic eruption that is not relevant to any of the rest of the movie.
They just wanted to put it in the trailer.
Yeah, and it does look cool. It's fine.
But this is another instance of Colin Trevorrow makes clickbait movies.
Yes.
It made it seem like that volcano was perfect for the plot.
And it would have been fine if it had been narratively connected to the rest of the movie. But these idiots just happened to get back onto the ship. If Owen had been driven by something to get Blue back or something, if he had been driven to follow them, it would have been better.
Honestly,
but they end up at at the place that they're going to because that's where they needed to end up.
I'm a fan as a writer, as somebody who does like fiction stuff. If you can make a just good enough excuse for a ticking clock element in your story, you should go for it. If unless it's very dumb or like causes the person to ask questions as to like why are they suddenly on a clock, putting some amount of time pressure on a story, you should usually go for it. And look, this volcano is doing weird things and we think it's about to erupt is a good idea. And it wouldn't have just been cool if it's like, we need to save as many dinosaurs as we can. We think Blue is on this island. Owen Thunderguns has an emotional connection. This is like basically like his long lost dog. His last chance to save his pet, basically. If it was just a movie of him going in to save his favorite animal and he runs into some sort of genetically engineered abomination while he's there, and it's just like one rescue mission, it's Saving Private Ryan with dinosaurs.
Yes.
That would have been baller film.
Would have been great.
Yeah,
because
you can now, and also I would give a shit.
I actually really like the character of Owen Grady. He's actually a lot of fun.
Well, Chris Pratt can be a fun
when
actor,
he's not talking to Bryce Dallas Howard.
When he doesn't have the plot in his mouth, he's a fun character.
Yes.
The second he has to say anything relevant to the plot, he's no longer fun.
Okay, I can't hear you with all that plot in your mouth.
Is that a script in your pocket, or you just
You know, I'm really into screenplay. Is that it? We done?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Sidebar collapse.
End sidebar. Open caret / sidebar closed caret. It's 3 years later. There's the volcanic eruption, and this is the problem, right? Is it's not just that. There's also this whole other plot happening at the same time. Where, you know what? I don't even need to read this. I know what happens because I've watched this movie a lot.
It's great when you can hate watch.
You know the anger watch. You know.
There are several movies that are on my hate watch list.
So they, while all this is going on, there's this other plot where John Hammond's former partner is still alive, living in this extraordinary mansion.
John Hammond's former partner, who we've never met or heard of or seen any evidence of existing until they needed him to exist for this movie.
Which is fine, right? I don't have a problem with that, strictly speaking, right?
If you establish it better and give a reason as to, like, if this was like, oh, I was angel investor, right? Like, John Hammond didn't like to talk about the fact that he didn't get all the money on his own.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to then make that a more critical part of the plot of the movie instead of it just sort of showing up.
And this individual has a granddaughter. Yeah. And this granddaughter lives in this giant mansion. So all these dinosaurs end up arriving at this giant mansion because, of course, that's the place where they're about to have the black market auction.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs arrive. And over the course of... While all this is going on, while they're getting captured and while they're being transported and while the dinosaurs are arriving, this granddaughter, this kid, is learning that she is not this person's granddaughter. That she is this person's daughter's clone.
Because the daughter died.
Cloned in the same way that the dinosaurs were.
And now we get to an interesting, like, moral.
Yeah, now it becomes very interesting, right? The emotional center of this movie, which I am in love with, is this kid near the end of the movie has learned that she is a clone, has learned that, and all the dinosaurs have been a toxin has been released to kill them all.
Yeah.
As an emergency measure or whatever. And she has this moment where she thinks, we're going to kill them because they don't belong here. But I also don't belong here. If they're not allowed to live, why should I be? And then she lets all the dinosaurs go. Which is, I love. Oh my god, I dig it so much.
It's a little bit of a leap in logic, but I can...
For a 10-year-old is fine.
And in a better movie, that could be a really emotional moment,
Because,
right?
it's so good. It's so good. And I remember the first time I was watching it, I loved that moment, and I was angry with myself for liking that.
Because there's an idea in there that's like more interesting than the rest of the movie.
That's extremely interesting, right?
What?
I've said this before. That's the plot of Blade Runner.
When Blade Runner asks, like, why do we value life, and then what is it, right?
Yes.
And that's a difficult question that we have, like, conflicting answers to.
Right.
Our replicants were made to serve a purpose, but are they alive?
And if they are alive, should they be given the agency to do things, right?
And then
should they be given leave
intelligence
to do things? It is a question that asks what a person is, which is one of my favorite questions that humans have ever posed. I find it extremely interesting.
Yeah, and she's literally just a clone of a human, so she's treated the same way that daughter was treated, and she gets the dignity of respect. And she looks at these dinosaurs and says, it's almost like a little animal rights sort of thing too. It's but like with cloning added on top of it, it could have been a really good episode of Star Trek.
You pulled something that I find that I want to touch on. Mm-hmm. You said that she is treated the same way as everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's idiotic from a movie making perspective. Mm-hmm. My God, that's stupid. She should not be treated the same as everyone else. Her grandfather, the rich person who owns the place, has this shitty like nephew, I think.
Yeah.
And he should be treating her like an animal. Right. He should be treating her like she's not a real person.
Especially because he stands to inherit more money if she's not around.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun dichotomy, because like he clearly is doing this because he has like an emotional issue he could not resolve by talking to a therapist or copious amounts of alcohol that led him to don't do that second one. But that led him to cloning his own daughter. Time. Or that's my preferred method. But.
Men will literally clone dinosaur weapons instead of going to therapy.
Men will literally clone their dead daughter instead of going to therapy. Yes. So
there's not therapy money, and then there's therapy money, and then there's not therapy money again.
It's a bell curve. Yeah, your wealth, likelihood to go to therapy. If you are bankrupt or a billionaire, you're equally unlikely to go to therapy.
The manly urge to clone dinosaurs and not go to therapy.
But that would be an interesting dichotomy if the father was treating her like an absolute princess, giving her everything he wanted because he could, and because it made him feel like he had his dead daughter back again. And the nephew is treating her as subhuman because, in his mind, not only is she subhuman, she's a clone of a dead woman, she is cheating him out of half of his inheritance.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yes. What you're describing is the movie that I couldn't stop thinking about while watching this movie. Because there is a not just a good movie, right? There is a spectacular movie hidden in there somewhere.
Where it starts with this girl, right? It starts with her realizing who she is, realizing why her cousin, I guess, hates her.
Yeah, maybe she has a couple of more wait staff who treat her like they're scared of her or disgusted by her.
The more experienced wait staff, or you see a switch, right? They're all very courteous to her, and then all of a sudden, the nephew has a conversation with some of them, and all of a sudden they're weirded out and not as close to her as they used to be. Because she's not just a girl. She's a dead person's clone.
Right. She's not just not his kid. She's not a real person. And that those scenes could be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They could be phenomenal. But they're not, because they didn't put them in the movie.
This movie feels like it's two movies. They had two different ideas for what Jurassic Park could be.
Two totally fine Jurassic Park movies, right?
Yeah, man goes back to make sure his animal he left behind is saved from extinction.
Yep.
The volcano is going to kill Blue. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
Blue is going to die in my arms someday, not alone, suffocating a volcanic ash. And if I have to die to save Blue, god damn it, I will.
That is the plot of Jurassic Park 3, except we don't have to deal with any annoying characters.
Yeah.
Right? That's great.
Rescue mission with dinosaurs? Like, this is my pitch for why Jurassic Park 3 isn't that bad. There's bad scenes in it. Conceptually, it's like,
it's
a rescue mission with dinosaurs.
And you know what? If it's Owen Grady goes John Wick, tries to go find his dog, I would be so on board with this.
And if it was this thoughtful movie about somebody being a clone, realizing it, and then also finding out that while they are a clone, some other cloned creatures are where the wealth is coming from.
Because you already have the Jurassic Park label on it. You already have that set up. Yeah. It would be great.
You find out,
Except it's not.
You find out, oh gosh, she's cloning animals for, and it could be not just dinosaurs. Dinosaurs could be the main draw, but you could see him like
cloning black tusk rhinoceroses or something.
Yeah, it's being instead of people going out to poach them, we just clone them right here. Slaughter them and sell the parts that people want. The rhino horn, the elephant's ivory, armor made of pangolins, coats made of panda, and it's and he rationalizes it to himself too, right? If I don't do it, a poacher will. I'm just more humane, and then crushes animal in fist.
Yeah, yeah, crushes oviraptor egg.
Yeah. No life was wasted, he says directly to his clone daughter, who can't not project herself into the animal he just killed.
It's great!
Yes.
Except it sucks!
Yes.
Because they tried to make both of these movies.
They tried to make both these movies and also throw in an unrelated, idea they had for a climactic scene of a dinosaur chasing people around a house like it's a horror movie.
Yes, which was awesome. To be fair,
there are three awesome concepts that got stitched together into one animation.
You're right. They tried to switch together. They tried to stitch together Blade Runner, 2012, and Alien, and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Yes.
Any of those movies needs pinpoint execution to work,
or just the focus on it. Alien works because it's such a they're in a ship, and there's an alien in it, and we're going to milk that for all it's worth.
Oh my God.
And then we're done.
Imagine if Alien had, a romantic comedy subplot.
Imagine if all the stuff that happens in Alien happens in the last 20 minutes. And the first 20 minutes have nothing to do with an alien.
Well, Zach, that's the second Jurassic World movie.
And it's the most frustrating Jurassic Park movie.
Because the next one, I had a wonderful time.
It might be the other two movies might be dumber, but I would rather see a dumb movie done middlingly than three smart movies failed in a row.
Dude, since I watched the movie, I've been saying this. The trouble is, they tried to put a little Blade Runner in a Jurassic Park movie, and what they needed to do is put a little Jurassic Park in a Blade Runner movie.
Yes.
I was picturing Blade Runner with dinosaurs, and I loved it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I got dinosaurs with 8 lines clipped from the Blade Runner script, and that really sucked.
It's a real tragedy, honestly. And I've actually not seen this last one, but...
Oh, it's awful.
I know what happens because we had a very lengthy conversation the second you got out of the theater.
We sure did.
And
I think that was on the drive home from the theater.
I've watched clips of it as well because I did not believe you about the twist villain at first.
You didn't believe me?
I knew you were being honest. I had to read it to I could have swore I was in a dream. It's not that I didn't trust you. It's that I didn't trust reality.
Nobody cares. Oh my God.
My joke guess when you said guess who the villain was, I said Dennis Nedry, he lived, and you said you're actually shockingly close, and I was dumbfounded. I legitimately could not no, that there is no way in any reality that my answer Dennis Nedry lived could be close to anything that happens in a real movie that was released in theaters.
Not only was it close, the answer was stupider. I would have bought Dennis Nedry lived more easily. Dodson, we got Dodson here.
Can I bring up Cobra Kai again?
Please.
What I like about Cobra Kai is I was shown by my friend who said you need to watch Cobra Kai, the first 3 Karate Kid movies beforehand. And while they reference them all the time, these clips from them all the time, and they do bring back characters, I've never felt like they did something purely fan servicey or like remember him just because they could.
Yeah.
It always served the narrative, and a character only ever shows up who serve where the story is going. And the other thing to point out is there's no Force Ghost Mr. Miyagi. They don't like shoehorn a character in when they don't need to be there. When
Force Ghost Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
It's a very funny sentence.
There's a scene that I watched just today where Daniel LaRusso is on the beach and he's trying to solve a problem, and he sees a guy fishing with a hat on that looks a lot like Mr. Miyagi's hat and like a lot like the way he fished. And he walks up near the person, just sort of transfixed, and the person, he doesn't know who it is and they don't know each other. And he just says, "Sorry, you reminded me of an old friend." "Oh, did your friend like to fish?" Yeah, and they have a conversation where this person who reminds him of Mr. Miyagi gives him sage advice completely on accident while Mr. Miyagi's theme music plays lightly in the background.
Yeah.
You pay, like, great homage to the original without, like, stamping on it.
Yeah, it can just... That's actually a really good scene that you've described. That's
Yes. It's a shame this movie didn't
It's a shame this movie has none of those.
Instead of doing, like, a sincere, like, spiritual homage to the essence of a character or idea from the movies, the characters just show up and have nothing to do.
Zach, are you ready for this dumpster fire?
Yes.
4 years later, alright? God, there's so many characters in this movie.
I'm gonna
Owen
the
and-
Wikipedia article.
Owen and Claire are raising the genetically engineered grandkid in the forest, right? And Blue is just like kind of around in their area of forest somehow, with a new little baby dinosaur who is very cute.
Yeah.
That little baby dinosaur gets caught by poachers and brought back to Jurassic World, or whatever they're calling the new one. Meanwhile, a giant swarm of locusts, of genetically engineered locusts, are eating crops all across the U.S., and Ellie Sadler is called in to check this out
Because she's a plant expert.
Because she's an expert on locusts.
She's an expert on plants, so it makes sense that they call her in for the plants.
Yeah,
But
she's an expert on ancient plants, which is why they called her for their corn.
being eaten by locusts that are not ancient, and also presumably there's a lot of experts on corn. You don't need to call in the.
But Laura Dern looks fantastic considering she's like 70.
Laura Dern, yeah, she's not 70. She's only like 50 something. Hold on, Laura Dern, you're gorgeous. I just want to
How old is Laura Dern?
Laura Dern is 55.
God, she looks awful. That's a joke. I'm sorry, Laura. I'm sorry. I know you watch. I'm sorry.
Laura Dern she hasn't really aged that much since the 90s.
Well, everyone, please leave a comment that says "no problem" Laura Dern. Can I please get a bunch of responses from Laura Dern in the comments? Thanks.
Don't rip on Laura Dern. She's a phenomenal actress, and she doesn't look significantly older than she did in Jurassic Park. Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum has aged fantastic.
He
gets more crazy every year.
Look, still a DILF, but you've clearly aged.
Yeah.
You went from young DILF to old.
He's
DILF.
really pushing Gilf at this point.
He's pushing DILF.
Oh my god. Anyway, let's see. So there's the locusts, and we notice, by the way, that the locusts, the company that is doing dinosaurs now is called Biosyn. We noticed, Ellie notices that the locusts never eat crops grown by that company. They never eat crops grown by Biosyn. They are attacking other people's crops.
This could also be an interesting movie.
Right.
This is corporate espionage.
Yes! Very interesting. Fortunately, it did not entertain that long enough for it to be a problem for me.
Yeah. The problem with Colin's movies is that he breezes past more interesting stories with alarming speed.
Yep. Yep. My God.
He will set up a world with full of interesting stories that will never be told, so he can tell a generic action movie with a little bit of romance.
Speaking of which, Ellie and Grant decided they're going to go to the island.
Yeah. Oh, is the fence coming out?
Oh, okay. I thought that fully sounded like an animal behind me. Meanwhile, Owen and Claire are hunting after this velociraptor baby. Oh, also they kidnapped the kid, which is more important.
Yeah,
well, they're following both of them.
There wasn't really much else they could do with the kid at that point.
Yeah. So they kidnap the kid. They're bringing him to the island. Owen and Claire track them to let's see where it is. Malta. They track them to Malta, and there is this again a scene that could have been truly fantastic. A black market dinosaur bazaar where a whole bunch of dinosaurs engineered and ready to become weapons are being sold on the open market.
This is the part they stole from that script that got buried in between the Jurassic Park franchises. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchises.
And dude, like, that scene was kind of sick. Like, do you remember the James Bond scene where he's like chasing a dude across the rooftops in like fucking Marrakesh or somewhere?
It's the one at the beginning of Casino Royale,
yes,
right? Where it's just like he needs to go kill this one guy who, completely unrelated to the poker game that'll happen later. Classic James Bond thing where he's on a different mission.
Yep. Don't talk about the poker game. Don't talk about the poker game.
Well, we have to talk about every James Bond movie. That'll be a long video. We'll save that for when we have like a day to do an 8-hour video.
I literally haven't seen any ones that aren't Daniel Craig. I have not seen any other ones.
You're in for a treat in every definition of the word.
Oh, no.
Including the bad ones.
Oh, no. So that scene at the beginning of Casino Royale, imagine that, but instead of some unrelated guy, it's Chris Pratt. And instead of Daniel Craig, it's 3 velociraptors. It's excellent. It really is. It's great. I wish that it had been longer and with better action choreography.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with that. It was awesome. I really liked that scene. Then, that's the last good scene in the movie. They get on a plane. The plane crashes because it gets attacked by pteranodons, and they have to jump out. Claire jumps out and ends up in the middle of the jungle and doesn't die, but instead manages to hike her way back to exactly where Owen is.
Have people in Jurassic Park movies not realized that you should just never get on a plane?
Helicopters are the way to go.
Yeah. If you were offered a ride on a vehicle in a Jurassic Park movie, take a look at your watch and see if it's like an hour and 20 into the movie.
Yeah.
That's the only vehicle that's not going down.
Yep. In a ridiculous scene, Owen and the pilot climb out of the plane. And are hunted by a winged, feathered dinosaur who ends up diving under the ice and like hunting them from under the ice, which was fine. Right. On the other side of the plot, it is revealed that Ian Malcolm has been working here. He's been giving lectures here. He's been giving the same lecture that he's been giving for 30 years, except now he gets a paycheck from the people who are doing the stuff.
Chaos theory. Chaos theory.
Chaos theory. Yeah. We meet Dodgson.
So Dodgson. I had to stop.
Yeah, Dodgson Cole. I thought his last name was Dodgson.
So did I.
Did not realize it was Dodgson Cole.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Lewis Dodgson. Ramsey Cole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, his last name, okay. I was about to say. No, his last name's totally Dodgson. At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, if I'm bringing somebody back, do they serve a narrative purpose? And nobody cared about Dodgson other than the internet.
Yes.
Meme of like that old song on "You're the Man Now, Dog" with Dodgson here, like remixes the people had of it.
Yep.
It was just a funny scene to quote and meme on. He serves one purpose in one scene in the original movie, which is to find Dennis Nedry, who we've already established as a disgruntled employee, and tell him, hey, if you want to steal stuff and give it to our company instead, we'll pay you a lot of money. That's all Dodgson is there to do.
Counterpoint, he was the best part of the movie.
That can be true, but like that could have been anybody, right? All it needs to be is an evil business person.
He's just like, he's really like kind of charming and jumpy.
It's not the same actor, by the way.
It's not the same actor?
Because YouTube probably won't like the words I say if I say what the previous actor was convicted for.
Uh-oh, okay. Well, there it is. Kind of weird that they brought him back.
Yes. That's the other thing that's a little wacky about it, is they couldn't get the actor back. It was Cameron Thor who was the original actor. Jeez, I forgot how bad that was.
No, stop! Don't give it up! Get out of here!
Don't Google Cameron Thor.
Oh, come on. Don't make me edit things.
Oh my
God.
Jeez.
I'm gonna pull out this whole section. Damn it.
Okay.
We're at 52 minutes, and we're doing stuff I have to cut! Ah! In and out, 20-minute adventure.
In and out, 20-minute adventure.
Okay, some stuff happens and none of it's plot relevant. Because the plot has fluttered away. Ellie and oh my god. Ellie and Ellen sneak downstairs, set fire to the locusts downstairs, and then happen to run into the extremely valuable clone child. They then escape on the hypertube. Yes, okay. And then I believe the hypertube breaks down. They have to walk, so they end up walking through tunnels, finding some of those like not dinosaurs from the Cambrian period with the ridges on their backs. They look really cool. They end up screaming, running, finding their way to a gate. Ian Malcolm does some fantastic stand-up at the gate and eventually unlocks the door for them. They then, in the middle of the woods, run into Claire. I'm sorry. While all this is going on, Claire gets cornered by a Dilophosaurus. You know, Spitty Boys.
Spitty Boys. Dennis Nedry. Yeah.
Owen Grady comes in from off screen to save her. Comes in, grabs the Dilophosaurus by the snout as it's about to spit, and then like does one of these. Like grabs it by the snout and like shovels it off into the woods and tosses it into the woods. They have not seen each other in 12 hours. Had no idea where the other was.
Very conveniently showed up exactly at the right time.
Yeah.
To stop her from getting a life-altering, horrifying injury.
Yep, it's like if Samuel L. Jackson happened to come and grab the Dilophosaurus right as Nedry's about to die.
Yeah.
They're in very different places.
All right, Dennis, hold on to your butt.
What is Samuel L. Jackson's character in that movie?
I forget.
Mr. Arnold, I think we're back in business.
Yeah.
So that happens. Then all of the other characters happen upon the same spot.
Convenient. Very convenient.
In this pile, we have Ian, Ellie, Alan, Owen, Claire, Clone Child, and Henry Wu? I think Henry Wu tagged on with them at some point. He's sad in this movie.
He's sad because he realized he's been a villain for the entire franchise.
Yeah.
For no good reason.
No, Ian Malcolm is the villain of the first one.
I meant the Jurassic World ones. The villain in the first one is Costa Rica's minimum wage.
Oh no! 7 people standing here. They're around like a treehouse. Okay. Now I want you to imagine 7 people standing next to a car. A dinosaur shows up. Large carnivorous dinosaur, the name of which I do not remember. Not a tyrannosaur. That's important. Rocks up out of the forest. Says hi.
Yeah.
And these 7 adult humans hide behind one car together and do this like musical chairs around the dinosaur. And this description I'm giving is not doing justice to how atrocious this scene is. Every single one of them is making eye contact with the dinosaur the whole time. Because I want you to imagine if you can a Jeep.
Mm-hmm. It's easy, there's one out there.
Yes.
It's fine.
So imagine me standing next to a Jeep. It comes up about like to my eye level, right? It's about here. Crouched, it's maybe a foot over my head. And I want you to imagine a 15-foot dinosaur standing over the Jeep, like looking down at me while I'm on the other side of the Jeep and it can't see me, right? Whereas it's just like right there, right? Now,
yeah, like that.
Yes, I'm here and like you're like up there. Yes, Zach is standing on a chair for emphasis.
Yes, for emphasis, I am standing well above Tom. I can see the entire curvature of his head, and when he kneels down, I can see like basically his whole body.
I'm hiding.
You're
I'm being stealthy.
Yes.
I want you to imagine that, but 7 people, 5 of which are A or B list actors, which is like, my God, it was the funniest thing.
This gives me to another one of my gripes, especially with these movies, as compared to. Actually, this is something they do in the first 3 that they don't do nearly as much in these ones. Tom, if I told you we were going on an adventure on an island full of dinosaurs with only us as the people going, what would you bring with you?
Everything in a survival kit, right?
Everything in a survival kit,
Yeah.
and probably
Knife, fire, rain jacket, some, a little tent setup or a thermal blanket.
I'd also probably bring like 3 guns.
Yes, yeah, I'd bring a couple of guns. Oh my God, this is wild.
You think
He's like a cowboy. Owen's like a cowboy.
Yeah, Owen should be like strapped with ways to fight off dinosaurs. Like a super soaker full of like pepper spray, right? like the problem with these movies is they're on an island full of dinosaurs. And it's not like in the first one they're just going there. They're like quick in and out, like
20-minute dinosaur.
20-minute day. Yeah. You're gonna be here for a day. You're gonna say this is awesome and looks completely safe, and you're gonna go home. It makes sense why they don't have weapons. Muldoon has weapons, and Muldoon goes out with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that the Ellie Sattler from the 3rd Jurassic Park movie, it's wild to me that she, after all of that, after the speaking about how, like, she has nightmares about the sounds the raptors make, it is astonishing to me that she did not bring a fully automatic shotgun.
Yeah. I would have had like a foot holster just in case my pants get ripped off. Like, yeah. If
two here, one across the back.
And one little one on my foot just in case. Yeah. Like, these people are going on what is necessarily the most dangerous adventure of their life, and they're like, I don't know, t-shirt?
You think I should bring the flannel? Owen?
I get that people don't want to see a movie that is our characters mercilessly gunning down dinosaurs. I say that and then like, actually, no, I do want to see that.
Oh my god, I think the pilot was in that scene too. The pilot who flew Owen and Claire. My god. Okay, this scene is not over, by the way. This scene continues.
Of course.
Ian Malcolm ducks into the Jeep, which is probably the wisest thing to do that any of them did. And the other ones go into the treehouse without much hassle. Well, the dinosaur is like 18 feet from them.
Yes.
And they just like go into it. It's fine. They go into the tree. They're in the treehouse. Meanwhile, Dodgson is trying to put out all of the burning locusts.
Yeah.
And they spring up through a vent on the ceiling and flutter out into the night sky. It's, a cool shot visually, even if it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
If you have cool visuals, we'll forgive you for some nonsense.
Yes, right. That's fine.
Usually.
It's fine. It's fine. You can have a little bit of nonsense. You want to say that these locusts are fire resistant, fine. But they are all on fire. Yes. On fire enough to be gleaming in the dark, but whatever. Ian Malcolm gets one on a spear. Picks it up. Giant dinosaur roars at him. And this man javelin throws a flaming spear into the back of a dinosaur's throat. And my god, is that an incredible sentence. It's like a really weird fan fiction.
Yes, that's a fanfic fight scene. And I should note, if that thing could die to a spear in the throat, a shotgun would have done the same thing way quicker, way more effectively.
It didn't kill the dinosaur. I think it made it real, and then it turned and looked at Owen, who had gotten a flare gun, and shot it in the eye, I think.
Yeah. All of these things could have been done with any firearm in existence. It's a shame these people live in a country like America where those things are hard to get.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is a shame that you can't buy weapons anywhere in the U.S. That would have been really useful for them.
Anyway, do you know they don't have dinosaur attacks in Texas? It's weird.
Don't you think we're due?
Look, I'm not a big, giving people guns proponent, but in a world where dinosaurs are everywhere, everybody should be prepared for a random dinosaur attack. I've seen the beginning opening reel of this movie where it is just dinosaurs are out there, and sometimes surfers get eaten by the thing from the...
Yeah, the mosasaur.
The mosasaur. If there is a world where random dinosaur attacks happen, you should be prepared to shoot dinosaurs.
Yeah, you should really have bear spray when you're rocking.
You should have dinosaur repellent. You should have any sort of way to get rid of dinosaurs. So when a dinosaur shows up, you're not like, oh god, it's a dinosaur. Which... They go to an island that was full of dinosaurs, and the reaction when they run into a dinosaur is, oh god, it's a dinosaur.
Yep. So then Dodgson, who again really is the best character in the movie, a character will walk in, and Dodgson will turn and go, ha! What? He'll turn and just he's like a very normal person in this movie. He's like, Jesus, what what do you want? Also, he and Malcolm have the barest shadow of a good movie between them for 15 seconds, where they have this really good off the cuff philosophical debate about accountability.
Yeah.
And whose fault this all is.
Yeah.
And that 30 seconds Like, unironically, there's a couple of scenes in this movie that are worth watching. That 30 seconds might be worth watching. But then he dies to Dilophosauruses.
It's a shame the Jurassic World movies, the plot gets in the way of any semblance of an ideology.
Yeah.
Like, there's an ideology to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's very subdued, but very clever.
And you know, I have issues with it. The Icarus.
Okay, the general principle is you need to have a carefully defined idea of what you're doing when you choose to create life. This is, or at the very least, you shouldn't create life carelessly. But that doesn't mean.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's a venture that's not worth taking. Because the whole idea at the end, and this is why I disagree with your take on the movie giving Ian Malcolm his platform. Ian Malcolm is right that. Oh God, I'm forgetting the name of the creator of Jurassic Park. Hammond. He was right that Hammond should not be creating dinosaurs because Hammond clearly does not have the discipline for it. But the movie, this is what I love about the original Jurassic Park. The movie is about Alan Grant being afraid to have kids. That's the entire movie, is him being afraid to be a dad.
I disagree with your take. I think that this is. I do not think that this is what this movie is. And it is a testament to how good this movie is that we have such radically different takes, but we both still like the movie.
Thematically, he goes in with apprehensions. Ellie Sattler's like, yeah, we're going to have kids someday. We're going to get married and have kids and a family and all that. He's like, oh, kids suck. I'm going to scare this kid by pretending to cut his guts open. Because
Great scene.
Great scene. and then he's forced into a role where he's taking care of these kids in a dangerous situation, and he becomes good at it. And that scene where he finds the eggs that have hatched, like, is really important to him as a character. And it's like typical like film school film student, like, oh, he ties the two things together because life finds a way. But it ends with him in the helicopter with the kids around him, looking at the island, not as like a horrifying place where he almost died, but as something kind of beautiful for all the terrible things that happened there.
Look, man, like, I'm not going to dispute any of this with you, okay? But I identify with Alan Grant. Number one, kids suck. Number two, if they're dying to dinosaurs, I'll save them, okay? A person can have both of those reactions to a situation.
That's fair. I'm not saying.
Turns to camera 2. Don't get married, don't have kids, don't listen to people on the internet.
Don't run away from dinosaurs. Unless there are dinosaurs, then run away from them.
Yes, remember.
Don't seek out dinosaurs to have to run away from.
Dinosaurs are not a metaphor for your problems. You do still have to deal with them. And wear a condom. That's our show.
That's our show. We don't even get to talk about anything that happens after the ending.
Get us out of here. Oh my god. If you liked the video, give it a like below. If you didn't, go ahead and subscribe. I hope that you have a good day and a happy new year.
Do you want to talk about the short films?
No.